So this comes from Mallory. What is your advice on how to make a relationship last?
Don't everyone speak at once.
I would say go into their being healed. Go into their your whole healed self first. And speak about your past traumas and unpack that baggage with each other first so you guys can be on the same page.
Is Mallory? I assume she's a lady.
Yes.
Now, I'd spend your summers bent over a balcony with your lover behind you as you look at an ocean view.
And you talk about me?
And as the waves crash against the shore, them cheeks clap.
No, Mallory.
I mean, that's part of it. That's definitely part of it.
Be willing to grow with your mate. You know,
Yeah.
you marry and date people at the state that you're at, and then as you guys are growing, you want to make sure that you're continuing to grow together
And not
so
separate.
you can have longevity.
Because it's easy to go separate.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if one's healing and the other one's kind of staying stagnant. It's easy for you guys to be able to.
My answer sounds dumb as fuck, but
You finna be on some weird old rap shit.
No,
huh?
you gotta try. You gotta try.
Oh, you definitely gotta
You
try.
gotta try. Like,
Yeah.
You
it's
can
not
allow
just-
dumb shit with the hat on.
Yeah.
It's not just it's just gonna work it out. No, you gotta try. You gotta do some work. Some shit's
Exactly.
gonna be this is uncomfortable, but hey, we got to get through this so it's comfortable.
You know, speaking of that, why do people act like relationships you don't got to put in work into them? Where do we get this from? Because every
Social
relationship,
media.
you
Disneyland.
have to put in work.
I think it's the understanding or thinking process of believing that once you got somebody, you got them. Now they don't have to try anymore. That's the usual thinking process.
Always got to put in work.
And
You
social
always gotta
media.
put that time.
Yeah, social media too.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Because like these, especially people now, like I would say anybody like 20 and older, or not 20, like 20 younger, like they were born. Pretty much, if you were born, the internet was already a thing. So they're used to getting everything quick, easy, everything's accessible, and it's like they don't understand. Like back in our like we had to work for everything. It wasn't just we couldn't just hit up Google because there wasn't no Google. You had to go down to the library, get a goddamn encyclopedia, and look up some shit.
But it's tough. You don't know that until you're in it, though. Like,
Yeah,
until you're in a
but
relationship where you're like,
I'm
"Oh,
saying,
shit,
but I'm
this
saying
is
like
work."
I'm saying like the mentality of work,
The
you know what I mean?
willingness to work,
Yeah,
I get you.
right. Because it's like it's I think also I think social media paints everything out to be so disposable. Like if this ain't working for me, I'll go find someone else that will.
And another side is usually always positive over negative.
And
you always see the positive in somebody's side and not the daily grind or the negatives on their side.
And you should be looking for relationships as in the terms of what you can give, not what receive.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because I mean, if you're a person that all you want to do is take, you'll never be fulfilled.
Oh God, yes. And social media gives a false narrative. They got everybody thinking that it looks a certain way and it doesn't. They don't show you the nasty part of crying and suffering and fighting to keep your relationship alive. They don't show you that part.
And
And make it look beautiful.
Damn, I didn't want to make this whole thing, but that's part of the whole like submissive thing. Like she's giving herself to be submissive, but at the same time, as a man,
I'm not laughing at y'all. I'm sorry.
as a man, you're giving her your everything, your protection, her well being. Like you're taking all of her responsibility. You're putting on yourself. That's part of being. That's the flip side of having a submissive wife or a submissive partner or whatever.
Sure, yeah. That's like you said. We always say this.
Yeah.
That's your life, nigga.
Yeah,
Like some
yeah.
people, it's like what you got to figure out what works
Yeah.
for y'all. You have to.
So-
shit, like we said, shit changes too.
As she goes on to ask a follow-up, how to move past big problems. I can say accepting infidelity is not an acceptance of betrayal itself, but it can, or if you can forgive, there can actually be much stronger connection and happy times ahead. However, even when you forgive, the big elephant in the room seems to appear, making it hard to move forward at times, regardless of the growth over the years. Like, do we ever truly get over it when we have happiness in between these moments?
Well, the thing is, if you're going to forgive, you're going to have to forget.
Yep.
That's not true.
Well, no, when you say forgive and forget, you got to forgive, but you got to let a lot of that shit go.
You can
because if
remember.
you keep it in your head, you're not forgiving.
You can remember.
You need to remember.
That don't mean you can't forgive.
No.
Like, that don't mean erase that shit from your memory.
But when I say forget, what I'm saying is don't hold it over their head.
Yes,
then
I
that's
can
not
agree with that.
forgiveness.
If you forgive
Right.
somebody, you
But
definitely
but
need
but
to
but a
not
lot of people
bring it back
think
up.
it is. They
That's-
think that okay, I'm gonna forgive you, but now I'm gonna scrutinize everything.
I understand that, but
do.
I'm a firm believer in it. I don't give a fuck what you believe if it ain't reality. Like
I don't think anybody ever really forgives infidelity because it actually makes you question yourself. They did the wrong thing, but then you start to wonder what was wrong with you to make them do that.
I'm
So
sure
I
some
don't think
people do.
any, especially not a woman, ever really just forgives it. We just don't have the courage to separate.
Men don't forgive it either. They
Definitely. As a man, I'm telling you right now, my wife know. I said, nigga, you let somebody else slide, you better stay on it and walk out the house with them, cause it's done.
I had a coworker tell me that recently, the other day actually, about his past relationship and how he tried to make it work after the fact, and I was like, I couldn't even imagine
I
trying
can't.
to like make it work because I think it'd always be in my mind.
I couldn't,
but I think
I
it
couldn't even
happens.
be.
It
I couldn't
happens.
even be intimate again. Cause I'm like, did you want like this with this nigga?
Yeah.
Yes,
and
women
that's-
are doing the same thing.
I couldn't do it.
And that's the hard part. It's like we're speaking from our point of view,
Yeah.
and it's like there's a nation of motherfuckers out there who for real.
They don't
real.
care. They don't care.
I get that.
mean,
I just
for
know
real,
for
for
me personally, I couldn't.
And I understand that. Like I'm in the same boat, but I'm like I've seen that where you're like, wow, you really just because I seen the torment, and now you're like for real. Like how? I don't know how. I guess I commend you. I don't know.
I think I realized my for myself personally at a young age. Like, I'm not the kind of like I'm not the one night stand guy. I can't do shit like that. Like I gotta be emotionally attached to you.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm not gonna dive into some shit I'm not 100% into. I'm not gonna do it.
Dive in.
Dive in.
I mean, that would explain the one time, but I guess.
What one time? What are you talking? What are you talking about?
You should have. Well, whatever. It's too late.
I feel like shots were fired.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't no shots fired.
But, I don't know. Some people can do it, but
Yeah, I mean, some people.
it's my ego won't let me do it because I'm like you. I'll be like,
Why?
Yeah, can you start
look at
thinking
you.
about?
Because one,
are you in that boat?
Because one, I don't
forgiveness?
believe in.
Oh no, I'm talking about the one night stand.
I
I'm
don't
not talking
believe
about
in
that.
wasting.
I could forgive it.
I don't believe in wasting people's time.
I don't know.
And I feel
haven't
like
been in that
I feel
scenario.
like a one night stand. I'm wasting my time because why am I gonna? I'm not gonna sit here and
Oh,
trying
no,
to.
that's not. You know what that is? That's not a waste of time, dog.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
You got your goddamn mind.
For me, I'm saying for me, like I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and do anything that I don't feel like I can benefit from in the long run.
You did.
You know,
That's right.
to me,
No, but he's saying longevity.
There ain't no longevity
There's
in one
no-
night stand. You got
That's why he
You
don't
got
do them.
7 hours.
There's no benefit
You
tomorrow.
came, you went.
Yeah.
I can.
Oh,
we ain't
God,
getting
that's
ice
okay.
cream. Ain't none of that shit. Like
I don't know how to
I
respond
was
to that
coming,
part.
now you're going.
Oh my God.
I've actually had a lot of one night
Like-
stands that turn into more than one night stand. That's what's cool.
then that's not a one night stand.
No,
I mean,
no, they started, but
listen,
then it just. I know what you're saying.
once you pass it, it's no longer a one night stand.
know,
Shut up.
I know
I'm
that.
sorry-
I've
sorry
had
to
one
be
night
mean.
stands too, but I'm saying it's weird how they work out. Whatever. But what I was gonna say, I could probably honestly forgive, because I understand that shit happens, life happens, everything's weird. Your feelings and saying separation can feel different. It's just that roller coaster. And then when on the other side of it, when you do make that commitment to say, "Hey, I'm going to forgive or forget," or whatever you want to say, how you want to put it, it's also hard on the other spouse too.
Yeah.
Because they feel like now they feel like you're watching them consistently. You're on their high horse. They're taking it, you know.
Should have thought about that before you
That's
cheated.
a guilt thing. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's just,
I mean,
you know,
we're all human though.
right. That's the
Yeah.
thing. We're
We're all human, but you guys understand that trust is one thing that's not easy to get back.
Which I understand. It's just I'm saying like people make mistakes, so I get like how one side could be like, yeah, I fucked up that one time. I get that I have to earn it back, but like shit, like if you feel like you're constantly being like, I can see that being a fucking nightmare.
But the thing is, if you know that one thing is gonna be devastating, it's like, damn, you didn't even have enough like fucking thought about me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I get
so
that.
I get that side too, where you're like, yeah, you're right.
Well, like I said, on the other side of it too, there's could be some self-reflection on your part.
Well, when
Yeah.
you cheat,
No, I'm talking about when somebody happens to go out or whatever. There's also the other side of your part on it too. There's a reason why they did what they did and what happened too.
and that's a tough argument for me because I feel like you grown.
You know,
You grown as fuck. You make that decision. You could have made that decision not be in silence and be like, yo, this shit got me fucked up. I'm about thinking about stepping out. You
Right.
could have had that conversation. You chose to not have that conversation. So no, fuck
No,
that. You
that's
can't
good.
put that on the other
But
person.
again,
I
that's
feel
good that you can do that. But there's a lot of
I'm
motherfuckers
just
who
talking.
can't do that
I
shit.
feel like you shouldn't be able to put that on that other person.
No, I'm not saying you put it on them. I'm just saying you have to understand.
They do,
that.
because it's like you're fucking. It's like you said. You feel as if you're lacking something in that, and that ain't necessarily true all the time.
No, I'm not talking about all the time. I'm talking about it does happen though.
Oh yeah.
But I hear where you're coming from, but that's why I said before even entering in relationships, you need to start coming healed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you unhealed as hell if that's the way you're thinking. I'm gonna just cheat, because this person isn't doing what I need,
Yeah.
rather than just leaving.
Yeah.
So we need to start being equally yoked, and we need to start coming into things healed. This way, we don't have these weird ass problems.
I
and
feel like
trying to figure it out.
a lot of shit can just be solved by having uncomfortable conversations.
I agree.
And
Absolutely.
that's what it is. Like, you got to be mature enough to just say, like, a lot of times you got to say shit that's gonna hurt their feelings, but but it's the truth.
Well, like you said, it's that mature level. So I mean, there's a difference between a 20-year-old couple, 25, 35, 45, 65-year-old couple. They're all different things, and things happen. So.
Oh no, I don't think age have anything to do with it.
No, I think he's talking about
Like,
length of time together.
length
Right?
of
Well,
time,
I'm talking about age. I'm talking
No,
about if you're a 22-year-old couple that you got married, you're not going to have those conversations versus
Oh
somebody.
no,
who's
that's not
getting-
true. My sister
ain't
is
true.
Well,
28,
I'm not saying
and
all of
she's
them.
about the most not the one we just called, but my other sister. She is probably more mature than I am. She is the most mature woman that I know.
But not all of them.
And then you say some crazy ass shit, and you 50. So I mean, it's really just age don't really have anything to
48,
do
thank
with
you.
it. Experience.
That's when you were born.
Experience is where your maturity comes from.
And it's not just experience; it's also the willingness to do the work.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you're not willing to do the work, because a lot of times, like we say on this podcast a lot of times, you are in control of the outcome. So you are allowing what's going on around you to go on. So either you have to remove yourself from the situation, or address the elephants in the room, no matter how uncomfortable they may be. Like you have to. The truth is the truth. Like just.
So let's
And that shit hurt.
I'm gonna sum this up. Grow the fuck up and
Yeah.
deal with your shit. That's what it is.
This ain't the sandbox no more.
That's what it is. You just gotta deal with it. Sometimes shit sucks. So what?
No,
I don't like paying taxes.
Sometimes, a lot of times. The one thing they don't tell you as a kid is being an adult is not what it seems.
It's like me. I don't think anybody should get married under the age of 25.
But that's on you.
That's you.
Well, I know
that's
because
what
I'm
you
just talking
feel.
about the whole maturity level in your own life and what
See,
you
I-
experienced too.
But
That's-
then again, I disagree with that.
That's thinking
Of course, you're going to disagree with it because nothing I say is absolute.
But didn't you get married young?
No, I didn't get married. I was 30.
You was 30.
Yeah, but
Why
I'm
do you
saying-
But
disagree
you've been
with it?
with your wife this entire time,
Because
right?
because had I had my way, we would have been married at like 20.
Right.
But
and
but
nothing I
didn't-
said was
Yeah,
absolute.
I get that. I didn't say it was. I'm just saying like my view on that is different because like we would have been married probably around 20 because it was like it was something that I wanted. Like I said, I've never been like I saw my wife. I told her you who I want to be with. Like this, I've made this decision, and I'm not gonna back out of this decision. Now she felt like we weren't ready, and that's her choice, and I honored her choice. And so when she was ready, it didn't mean that we couldn't, wasn't still together. Just when she was ready to, make it official on paper, then we did. But I felt like we would have been. I don't think whether we got married at 20, 30, 35, whatever, I don't think things would have changed. I think the only thing that probably would have changed, we probably would have had a child quicker. That's the only difference.
Yeah, and your thought process just debunked what he said because you were young, but that was the way that you were thinking.
Yeah,
That's
but
extremely mature.
But you gotta also understand, I was raised by people that were together 60 years, so I was imitating what I grew with. This is
What
what
you
I
saw.
do.
What about as far as financially wise? Were you ready at 20?
For a family,
No, to be married.
I mean,
Because that plays a part too.
I mean, we were in the whole 50-50 thing. We're making it happen.
But yeah, what does
but
that look like to me? I don't know what that looks like. What do you mean?
like we were both going to college, working part time.
I
Like
get what you're saying, but what do you mean?
like
ready
say financially,
like
his wife may have felt that they weren't ready on paper to what she felt was.
I don't
the
know.
standard.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that was like.
I'm not saying that's the
case.
reason, but I'm saying I'm using it as an example. Say like she may have felt like, hey, like until we get to this point, I don't feel comfortable.
Well, her whole thing was she wanted to finish school, right? Yeah. She wanted to pursue her thing. Like I think she was looking at it like, I don't want to be a wife, and then now I have a kid, and now I got to put my, you know what I'm saying? And I respected that. Like, yeah, live your life. Like, I'm not gonna force you to do anything. But like financially, like, you know, that's why I always say, like, there's no woman in the world that could take my wife's place, because she was with me when I had nothing, and she held me down when I was a piece of shit. So she deserves everything.
And
Like, you know what I'm saying? She deserves everything.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as I feel
She's earned it.
when it comes to marriage, I think the thing that I'm trying to say is it's not always about the love part when the marriage is involved, because you can be with someone forever, love them forever, and have that bond with each other. Right. But I'm saying the marriage part, when it comes in, now there's finances, taxes, etc. Right. that come in.
I feel like financially we would have struggled, but we would have been happy.
Yeah, and that's my thing with finances and shit. It's like, it's almost like with kids and shit. People are like, oh, you ready for a kid? It's like, nigga, you ain't never ready for none of this shit.
Like he said, like if she felt like, you know, like she wanted to have her college out of the way, and that's admirable, because you're saying, you know, I don't want to have to say I got to put my schooling to the side, and because now I have a family to think about. Like,
yeah. I get.
So you're getting a certain milestones out of the way before you get to the next step, because you don't want to have to, you know, like.
Well, it's that I feel like it's in that sense, when you do things like that, you're like, I'm gonna do my shit, but I don't want to not put my all into my family. Like, that's how I look at it, I guess. Like, I'm gonna put my all into my family, because if I go this route, I know it's not my all. So if you have an opportunity to not have to do that, I get that. Like, you know what I mean? Where you're like, I still have this youth in me to be able to do this shit, and I still have, I don't want to say freedom, because that sounds bad when we're talking like relationships and shit, but you know what I mean? Like, you still have that opportunity to do that, so get it out the way. I get that. But I'm saying, when you're talking financially ready, there's so much shit that comes up when you get married, and no matter what, when you start building a family, it's like, nigga, I was not ready for none of this shit. But you just work it, you know what I mean?
Cause I was just thinking, like, because I'm thinking like 10 years ago, like, we were comfortable. Were we rich? No. Could we afford the things we do now? No. But we were comfortable, and we were happy. We were happy where we're at. I feel like a lot of people don't understand. Like, the more you make, the more you progress in life, the heavier shit get. Because it's like, you know, it's like you. It's not even on some living outside your means shit. It's just like you realize, like, this shit costs money.
I get that, but I know for me, if I decided to get married at whatever time that people expected me to get married, I was part-time, living check to check. At that time, my mental capacity would be, I know for a fact I'm not ready for the next step, because I'm worried about where my next fucking check's coming from.
And then
funny part is you switch that, though, once you get into that. Right. It's weird. Like, a lot of that, you have kids. You've had kids.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't take any of that consideration, so I was going full time.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
But then on the flip side of that, it's like, you were part time, you know. She was part time or doing whatever she's doing, and you guys made it work. And the dynamic really hasn't really changed. The only difference is now you're full time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It hasn't changed that. When you think about it in hindsight, the shift wasn't that great of a shift. It's just now you're full time and she's with the kids, so it wasn't that great. So you still, like, the responsibility that you feel now, you still felt that responsibility back then, because that's just part of being a man.
Shit, I feel like the responsibility you feel when you get more is tenfold.
Yeah.
Because
it's not just tenfold for you. I think it's tenfold because you start to understand the amount of people that are impacted. Like,
that's what I mean.
Like, it's different when it's just you and her, because it's like, oh shit, we can figure this out. But now it's me, you, and these children. Like, shit, like, we can't fuck up because we got these kids. Like, we got to make sure they straight. You know, so that's what it is.
So anywho, hopefully you got your answer answered. Your question answered.
And then some.
Because shit.
Rampage.
But yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Next time, like, subscribe, share. Peace.
Peace.